Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Carlene
plus Jaime.
Once again, thank you so much for joining us on this Friday night. I guess this would be also considered the day after Thanksgiving. Hopefully your tummies are full, but you're mostly grateful for all the things.
Right. And, most of all, hope that you were able to spend it with family and friends and loved ones. And, in the climate of our country right now, that wherever you are, whoever you're with, that you are appreciated and that you're grateful for all that you have.
Mm-hmm. And for us, we're mostly grateful for you all in your support and how it is that you have continued to walk alongside us in this journey of Carlene plus Jaime podcast. And so for those of you who are looking and watching this episode and you're like, oh my goodness, have I subscribed? I'm not sure. Go ahead and check to make sure that you have subscribed. If you haven't, if you can do us a favor of please subscribing, we would truly appreciate the love and support that you all bring to us and this platform.
Absolutely, man. The subscriptions, the comments, the reshares, all of that, really help us, really keep us going, right? And help us understand and know that we are making some sort of impact. Last week, we had a great time with the CWC church, and we were talking with singles and couples there. So, yeah, it shows that our show is getting out there and that you are enjoying it. You're seeing the clips, and we just love the support and the appreciation that you've been showing to us on this journey.
Yes. So, as you know, we have coined the mentors for the marriage mentors for the messy middle.
Yeah.
Right now we are in the messy middle and we're just essentially sharing our experiences to hopefully help you in your experience as a married couple. And sometimes even, you don't even have to be married, single or dating, just to kind of help you learn how to navigate certain situations. And so prior to us taking our very short break, 2-week break from our show, we were talking about shifts. We talked about different shifts that happen inside of your marriage and how to, or in your life, and how to maintain a very strong bond between you and your spouse. And so we're going to continue in that very same vein of talking about shifts that happens that affects you personally, but also affects your spouse. And so today's conversation, we're talking about when your partner's friendship is shifting or are shifting, when those friendships are shifting. And so your partner's friendship struggles aren't your problem to fix, but your presence during them is your partnership to strengthen. In the messy middle years, friendships naturally evolve, people move, priorities shift, values diverge. How you show up for your partner during these transitions can either deepen your bond or create unnecessary distance. And so that is essentially what this two-part episode or two-part series of what happens when your friendships shift. How do you support or help support your partner in navigating that shift?
Yeah, for sure. Because friendships in every stage or every age is different in your life, right? Friendships when you're in elementary, friendships when you're in junior high, high school, friendships when you are dating, and friendships when you're married, 30s, 40s, 50s. All of that shifts and all of that looks different. So, so understanding, what each other's going through.
Do you want for you, Jaime, to talk through, while we were preparing for this episode, there's some really great information that we were gathering that talked about why friendships why it's something that's beautiful. And then when it ends, why is it something that is so hurtful and so hard? And so I just want to make sure that we include that in this episode.
Okay, here it is. So number one, we curate friendships that confirm our self narrative. So if you see yourself as intellectually curious, like you likely gravitate towards friends who engage ideas deeply. If you identify as loyal, you probably have friendships where that loyalty gets exercised and recognized. These aren't accidents. We are drawn to people who allow us to be the version of ourselves we believe we are or aspire to become.
So we go ahead.
I was gonna say birds of a feather flock together.
Show me your friends, I tell you who you are.
There you go.
And so it's crazy. I hear that all the time, but yeah, it makes sense. But this really makes sense as to why, parents, people always say like, your friendships are definitely a reflection of who you are.
Yeah, absolutely. And who you want to be. And so that's one of the things that we try to evaluate. We try to instill in our daughters to like surround yourselves with people that inspire you, with people that want to make that you aspire to make you better. Not people that you trying to be like, but people who love you for who you are. And that are inspiring you to be better. Like chickens don't hang out with eagles.
Right.
They don't have nothing in common, right? Okay.
Well, they do. They have feathers.
Yeah, that's true.
Wings, a beak, but they do not necessarily.
They're the way they operate is different.
Yeah.
Chickens don't fly. Yeah. They don't, right?
They just have wings, but they don't fly. It's good.
Yeah. So the eagle is like, nah, we don't rock like that. All right. Friends validate the story we're telling our lives. We're telling about our lives, excuse me. When you make a career pivot, adopt new values, or shift priorities, you need people who recognize and affirm those changes. A friend who knew you in college and still sees you that way provides continuity with your past self. A friend who met you after your transformation validates your current self.
Wow.
Both are doing identity work. They're saying, yes, this is who you are/were. When those reflections conflict with each other or with how you see yourself, it creates dissonance. Yeah. So this goes back to when we were talking about when you break up with a friend, you're breaking up with a chapter in your life. Like a whole story of your life.
Yeah.
Right? Of who you were and what you've become. Like, because that friend saw you before you chose your career, right? That friend probably saw you when you was out there wilding and bugging out, right? Like that friend will validate that story. When you break up with that friend.
Yeah. Almost like, not that part of you or that side of you no longer exists. It's just this person that helps to validate that part of you. They no longer exist at that same rate.
Yeah, that's good. The shared history becomes evidence of who you are. You and your friend have accumulated years of inside jokes, witness moments, shared references. That archive isn't just a memory, it's proof of your character, your growth, your consistency, or change over time. When someone can say, remember when you ... they're not just reminiscing, they are testifying to your existence in a particular way.
Wow, that is... whew.
Losing access to that witness means losing verification of whole chapters of your life. So I kind of jumped the gun, but that makes it more sense.
That makes so much sense. Because I remember like with this particular friend that our friendship has faded. It's so crazy. Like there'll be certain things that I'll say or even remember, and I'll remember it, of course, with this person. And then there's a sadness that come over me because I realize that that person and I used to share that shared memory and we're no longer sharing it together. It's almost like it really hurts.
Yeah, because like, who you gonna go to if you lose that friend? Who you gonna go to and start the sentence with? Remember when you?
Right. Or if there's a particular song, or like you used to do stupid stuff as kids, or whenever, and you're just like, oh, their part. Okay, right. I guess they won't. Right. They don't have a part.
Right. Because I can sit down here and just think about with me and my friends, particularly my best friend, there are so many sentences that can start with remember.
Yes. And if he is no longer able to finish the sentence, that beginning or the ending of that sentence, then not that moment ceased to exist, that whatever it is that you're reminiscing on, but that shared memory, that core memory or core memories are almost like,
yeah, it's only up to you now. And so there's no one there to validate it.
yeah, that's sad.
Yeah. All right.
It's very
Friendship
sad.
choices signal identity to ourselves and others. The company you keep communicates to the world and to yourself. Being friends with someone creative suggests you value creativity. Close friendship with someone struggling suggests you value loyalty over convenience. When we read our friendship patterns for clues about who we are, I must care about justice, because all my friends are activists. Or I must be fun because people want to be around me. Yeah, it's the same thing going back to show me your friends. I'll tell you who you are. I'll tell you what you value. And you kind of like move towards spaces where there's people like that. Like, if you're not into goth, you're not going to find friends that's into goth. If you into fashion, then you're going to find yourself in community with other people that share common interests. And then it's also cool because when people see your friend and you're not there, they kind of know like, oh, I know why they be hanging out together. I see. And so they're communicating to the world about who you are, your identity, and what you value, things like that. And last but not least, when friendships end or conflict, the identity implications are profound.
Mercy.
If you pride yourself on being a good friend and a friend fails, what does that say about you? If your friend group was a part of a particular life phase of your early years, whatever your party days or whatever it may be, and those friendships fade, does that version of you still exist? The friendship wasn't just companionship. It was infrastructure holding up a version of your self-concept.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whew.
And well, there's more. This is why friendship conflicts feel so destabilizing. You're not just losing a relationship. You're potentially losing a witness to who you've been, validation of who you are now, and confirmation of values you thought defined you.
Wow.
The question, what happened with our friendship, quickly becomes, what does this mean about me?
Wow. Wow. Man, this friendship thing is deep.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it's so important to, I was going to say it's so important to choose wisely, but sometimes you feel like you've chosen wisely and then the friendship ends.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like this risk that you take with anything in life. It's this risk that you take. And then sometimes, you have friendships that last a lifetime. And sometimes you have friendships that last for a season. And then sometimes you just have friendships that, unfortunately, the same way that it started quickly, it ends quickly.
Yeah.
And so it's like learning how to navigate those friendships and seeing the value, right? I think it's important to also speak on the fact that it's so amazing to have friends. It's so beautiful to have friendships. Like when you read about how friendships, it's a reflection. It's almost like a mirror of who you are and who you want to become. You're also you also have friends that you're aspiring to, like there's some things in them that you're aspiring to be, not necessarily in a comparison, like you're comparing yourself to your friend, but you're just like, oh my gosh, I love the way that they are able to navigate hard times by doing this. Or I love the way that their perspective on life, that how they see life. You know what I mean? Like that is the beauty of friendship, that you can aspire to learn from each other. You can you can inspire each other to grow and as you're becoming. And so when that friendship that you're becoming with ends or fades, that's a part of who you are, of your core, of your, I don't know, your identity. So the magnitude of friendships, I think sometimes we don't, I know for me, let me speak for myself. I don't say we. I think a lot of times I have not placed as much value in friendships as I should have because of different varied reasons. But when in this age, in this stage and age in my life, I see so much the value of friendship and the beauty in friendship. And I think it's just really trying to navigate it in a healthy way as possible. But there's so much beauty in learning about friendship.
Yeah, no, I think that's so good. It's important.
For sure. And so I guess the question is, have you ever experienced a friendship shift? And that shift is not just, oh, we've moved and no longer do we have direct proximity to that person. No, we're not talking about that kind of a shift. We're talking about when there is I think one of the biggest shifts in friendship is a friendship breakup. So have you ever watched me go through a friendship breakdown and not know what to do or say?
Yeah, absolutely. I remember in particular, there was an issue that you were having with a friend, and just over the course of the years, just watching it slowly deteriorate, and watching it break down and seeing how it was breaking you down. That was kind of a hard space to navigate, to kind of figure out like, yo, why are you taking it so hard? Or why is it so difficult for you to process and to go through this?
Because you know that in life, like there are natural changes that affect life, right? As we mentioned, moving, sometimes having kids, right? That's a shift. Sometimes changes in career or even value evolution, right? How you see yourself, how that also affects or can affect the dynamics of changes in friendship that eventually lead to a friendship breakup. And so, if not handled well, I believe your partner's struggle can also easily become your struggle.
Right.
And I think it's so important. I think every episode we highlight this very important key component in having a very effective, strong marriage is communication, right? Being able to communicate what it is that you're going through, what it is that you're feeling, and not assuming or making your spouse assume that they know exactly what's going on or the nuances in terms of understanding why it is that you are, why it seems as though like you just broke up with them with in a romantic relationship. Like, why is it affecting you it seems as though at the same level it would in a romantic relationship, right?
Yeah.
And so how important it is to make sure that you communicate those different emotions that come with that breakup.
That's right.
Yeah. And so, all right. So in this segment, we want to kind of go through friendship loss hurts differently than what you might expect. So let's talk about the difference between losing a romantic relationship versus a friendship breakup.
Right. Yeah, because the question is which one hurts more? Which one like Which one would you say is worse, a friendship breakup or a romantic breakup?
I'd say that they're both equally hard and can be devastating to your core. I do believe that friendship breakup hits different. I don't think friendship breakup happens as often, and forgive me if I'm wrong. I feel like I've had more breakups, romantic breakup, than I have friendship breakup.
Oh, really?
And like breakups that I'm talking about, like friendships that are like core, like the strong of the strong, right? Like in friendships, like in your really strong friendships, like you go through those transitions, right? You go through dating one person and you kind of go to another person, but that friendship has sustained those breakups, right? And so when that breakup comes with that one friend, that thing hits different to me, because it's almost like this person they know so much more about you sometimes, right, than your relationship, than your romantic relationship. Sometimes they've seen you in like different times, different spaces. They've seen you at your worst. They've seen you at your best. Versus a romantic relationship, depending on how long of a time you have been with that person, you know, they may not have met all your family. They may not have those core memories of childhood, or those core memories of maybe when you were in college and stuff like that. So I feel like those friendship breakups, I guess I'll say it, I feel like it hits harder than most romantic relationships, the end of a romantic relationship.
Yeah. I think to all your points, because I think like with the romantic relationship, in the beginning, it's one of those things. It's like we're still getting to know each other. There's a possibility it might not work out. And so it's like you're making a new friend, but on a deeper level.
Right.
With a friendship, as you were stating, like that's somebody that you probably knew from your childhood into your adulthood. That's somebody who's been with you when romantic relationships has broken up.
Correct.
Right? So obviously, it seems as if, you can't say obviously, see. So it just seems as if the friendship breakup is always going to be harder. Not always, but I think it's going to hit different than romantic.
Yes.
Yeah,
it hits different for sure. And I feel of course, the deeper, if it's a childhood friend, or a person that was with you, they were with you in like when life was life, and when in the challenges, you're in the trenches, and they have navigated like different transitions in life, whether it's death or marriage or children and stuff like that. Like you go through those transitions with them, and then you break up, like that friendship ends. That is devastating.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times it catches a lot of us off guard, because it's almost like I didn't expect that it would hurt this much.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that I would have to mourn it so long and be, in my feelings for a very long time, because this friendship ended.
Yeah, because the the friendship relationship. So like when you are having an issue in your relationship, your romantic relationship, you default to your friendship.
Correct.
To try to, you won't believe what happened.
Yes.
Am I tripping? Am I bugging? What's going on? So that's that. So when that goes away, it's like, who do you turn to? So I get it. And then there's also more stuff I guess we'll talk about in the episode about like the impact of a friendship breakup and how devastating it can be to an individual.
And so the question is, why do you think friendship losses sometimes feel more confusing or ambiguous than romantic breakups?
That's a good question. I hope the audience chimes in with with helping us answer these questions. So repeat the question one more time.
Why do friendship losses sometimes feel more confusing or ambiguous than romantic breakups?
Yeah. Well, I feel like you could probably speak to this better than I can, but I would assume that with a friendship loss, that sometimes it can turn into you start blaming yourself, right? Or did I do something wrong? And then I think like there's no structure to navigating friendships loss. Like, I don't know, like, okay, point in case, like, I don't know if there's anybody, I don't know if there are friendship therapists, right? Like you have marriage therapists, you have couples therapists, you have all different sorts of therapists, but are there therapists who specialize in friendship breakups, right? Like that's not really there. So it's ambiguous in the sense that like there's really no where or no way or who to process it with. You have to almost there's only one or two options. You either process it with another friend or you process it by yourself. Like there's no mediator for friendships. At least for adult friendships. Maybe for kids, your parents step in and I need to work that thing out. Yeah, blah, 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 blah. But for adults, I don't think there's any So it's like, it's weird, like talking about it or dealing with it. So like sometimes I guess the best thing is just like, we're just not going to talk to each other.
Yeah. I think I think I know why it feels confusing because to your point, first of all, there isn't a lot of conversation around breakups, friendship breakups, and how to navigate that in a healthy way. I feel like when you have a romantic breakup, right, there are, as you said, therapists, there are books. There's so many different resources that you can tap into to help you learn how to navigate this very weird, oh my gosh, is this happening? Oh my gosh, like this person knows so much about me. They know like where all the buried people are. Like, you know what I mean? Like this is so deep. And so sometimes I think it's hard. It becomes so ambiguous in a sense or confusing because you're just like trying to understand like what in the world just happened? Did I really lose my person? Right? And how do we get over this thing? Is it possible for us to get over it or has it truly ended, right? And then you kind of go through the same things that you go through, like denial, like, man, this isn't really happening. Is it really happening? And then you get mad and then you're just like, man, maybe we can work at it. Maybe we can have a conversation to kind of help, mediate or to help fix this thing. There's just so many nuances that contributes to the breakup. And I think that's why it leaves some of us, I know it left me confused, like, what? Like, how? And all the things. So I think it's hard to lose a friend. And it's even harder to navigate that because there aren't conversations like this one or books or, you could go to your therapist and your therapist can help you navigate that, but there isn't someone that specializes in doing that well.
Yeah, there isn't. And I think it's even probably more difficult in this, where we are with social media, where it's like, before I would think like when you break up with a friend, you kind of can go throughout your day or your world without seeing that person again. Like you can distance yourself. But now with social media, it's almost like if you're still following them, you see it, right? And that's probably another episode. Like, what do you do when a friend unfollows you? Like that hits too. Like, yo, what did I do? Why you unfollow me? Nevertheless, but now with social media, you kind of see their lives and see what they're doing.
And you've seen their lives go on without you,
right? Like they living their best life, and while you here hurting and suffering. But at the same time, right, the ambiguity when it comes to friendship breakups is because you don't get to. It's difficult to share why the friendship is breaking down. Or oftentimes it becomes one person sharing and the other person listening. Like it's just a real awkward thing when you have to break up with a friend.
Yeah, it is. It is very, very, very difficult. And yeah, I'll just say that. I'll just leave it at that. It is very, extremely difficult. And you do go through this process of, you go through this period of, it's like grief. It's like you're mourning the friendship, you're mourning the loss of the friendship. And it doesn't necessarily have to be where you're mourning, you're hurt, almost in disbelief, so many different emotions that are happening. And so you're really trying to make sense of it and make sense of it sometimes internally, mostly internally. If you have a person like a spouse, because sometimes it's that loyal thing too, where you're just like, you know, you don't necessarily want to go and share with other friends about that particular or what happened. So you're trying to navigate that sometimes in isolation. And sometimes, you know, you really have to reach out to somebody and talk to them to help make sense of it. It's a very confusing time where I'm just like, man, I remember the first time it happened to me. The first time I had a friendship breakup, essentially, like I felt like I was like I broke up with a boy. You know what I mean? Like it felt the same. It kind of, I kind of went through the same kind of cycle of thoughts and emotions. And so thank God I had you to help me filter through a lot of that. Because that really helped me process it in a healthy way. So yeah.
Yeah, especially when, because, you know, with friendship breakups, that's a part of you that's going away. There are parts of you that I don't know about, or I only know about because you told me stories about it. But that friendship is somebody who's been with you in those actual moments, right? Who has witnessed it. They've been in your house. They've eaten your food. They've wore your clothes. They've, you know, you gave them money. You shared so many things. So like when that friendship that's that deep breaks up, that's like a whole part of you that's lost. And I think like as your spouse, when you were going through that at the time, and this can be for anybody else, I'm kind of confused on how to be there for you. Because in my brain, I'm kind of like, yo, just move on.
It's just a friend.
It's just a friend. Like, yo, I get it. Yeah, it was cool. Da 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 da. All that other stuff. But I'm like, you got me. Like, you got kids. Let's go. Let's move on with your life. But I think it was really important for me to try to step back and understand what just happened or what is happening, and to validate your feelings and to just be there as a support for you during that time.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think you quite understood the magnitude. And it could be because you're a man, right? I think innately who you are as a man, biologically.
Every time you say that, I'm going to do this.
Okay. I also think that you've not experienced that before. And I think men and friendships are different. Like how women make friends or have friends is different than how sometimes a man may have friends or maintain or sustain those friendships. I feel like with me, because you understand that friendship is something that I hold on to dearly, especially when you've kind of gone after you've penetrated the surface or penetrated that wall that I automatically put up at the very beginning. Like, understand that it's almost like you've lodged yourself in my heart, you know, forever. And so for you, you were just like, at first, I believe you were just like, you were supportive, very supportive. You always listened to what it is that I had to say or share. But I had to, when I process, and we talked about this, when I process, like I kind of have to beat it dead. I almost have to keep talking about it in order for me to like truly feel as though I am not purging myself from those thoughts, but kind of like a cleansing. Like I need to just get it all out. Not at the same time, at different random times. And Jamie's looking at me like, what? Are we still talking about this?
Right.
Why are we still here?
Right.
And I think that's why, that's why you were just like, you never said get over it, but sometimes you would.
My face.
your facial expressions, or even sometimes how you respond was just like, okay, like I get it, but I don't get it, but move on. Like you're good. Like he'll say, you'll say like, you have this person and you have that person. I do, but that person that I'm losing is not any of those people.
Yeah. I get it. Cause I think like for me, because I'm not in it, I'm around it. So it's different when you're in it versus when you're around it. And so me being around it, it's kind of like, boom, they've shown you who they are. So believe them. If they moved on, you got to move on too. So live your life instead of sulking and waiting for, I don't know, whatever to happen. It is what it is. Let's just continue with our lives, because obviously they have, or whatever they're doing, but you can't just sit there just sulking. You got to move on. But I'm trying to take myself and put myself in your shoes, and I can't imagine what I would go through if my friend of 30 years all of a sudden we just stop. We just stopped talking. Like that would hurt me, or that would hit me. And then also to see that person with like almost like becoming replacing me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's almost like there's like not a romantic part of it, but there's this part of it that's like, oh, so now you replacing me with somebody? Oh, you doing that with that person now? It's like, oh, for real? So, there's like, yeah, there would be some feelings. I would be in my feelings.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And so, I think most friendships, they don't necessarily end abruptly. Like the ones that are like true blue, solid, hold you down. We riding at dawn. You know what I mean? I think those friendship fades.
Yeah.
And that's the confusing part. That's the part that's like kind of ambiguous, because you're just like, there's not a conversation to say like, like a romantic relationship, you'd be like, yo, I don't think we should be together.
Right.
I feel like we should go our separate ways, and we are good. Like we are good, but we should go our separate ways. Like, unfortunately, I'm not in love with you, or unfortunately, I don't want to be with you anymore. Most friendships don't end that way.
Yeah.
Right? It's usually this like it kind of fades out. And if I'm being honest, I think there's probably only one friendship for sure. Like there was a conversation, and it was like, yeah, like it was an understanding that our friendship journey has ended.
Yeah.
But most friendships don't end that way. They kind of fade, and it's like you're kind of trying to have a conversation. You're trying to reach out. They're reaching out to you. And it's kind of like this weird dynamic where you definitely feel the difference in the shift in the relationship, in the friendship, and you're just trying to make it work. But you do understand that dynamic is no longer the same.
Yeah.
And so it kind of just eventually just fades away.
Yeah.
And you kind of slowly release them. And even though you may see them with other people, I think it depends on like the health of that friendship. I think it depends so much. I think those friendship breakups, like if you are not healed or healing, if there's no healing taking place within yourself, then you're going to, I think that transition, that situation is going to be so much harder, because I feel that if I see my friend hanging out with another friend, the unhealed part of me, well, if I'm being honest, the fleshly part of me would be like, yo, they moved on, like, dang, like they already got their BFF, like, you know what I mean? Like all the things. And then, you kind of feel jealous, but the healed part of you would be like, you know what? I honor this friendship. I honor the experiences we've gone through. I truly appreciate what it was and an acceptance of what it is. There's no hard feelings. There's no bad blood or anything like that. It's just what it is. I feel like that's the healed part, right? The healing that you have to, the work that you have to have in those difficult parts of the friendship breakup, and in that healing of yourself to say, okay, yeah, I'm happy that they have people. I'm happy that, they're living life or they're accomplishing all their dreams. Like I can still celebrate you. I can still enjoy seeing you thrive without me having to feel away, or, like I can still celebrate my friend, or I can still celebrate you, period.
Yeah. Because if a friendship is a true friendship, you should be able to say, yo, I wasn't feeling that. And then y'all work it out and move on, right? Even though it might be a little uncomfortable doing that. But I feel like as a true friendship, like, yo, we're going to have our disagreements. We're going to have our ups and downs, and we'll be able to get through it. But when a friendship, when a so-called true friendship breaks up, and because you can't see eye to eye, I can see how that can be really damaging and hurtful. Because like at the end of the day, when a romantic relationship breaks up, you go to your friendship. So you could be like, yo, I couldn't stand her anyway, right? Or like you need somebody in your corner who's gonna agree with you.
You mean be messy?
Yeah, and be messy, but also hold you accountable to be like, yeah, she was messy, but you was a little messy too, right?
Yeah.
I was telling you like, yo, you should have backed off. You was investing too much. Like you need that, right? And I think that's why a romantic relationship might be a little bit easier to navigate breaking up when you have a friendship. With a friendship breakup, it's kind of hard to go to your spouse and to say, yo, I ain't like them anyway. And your spouse is gonna be like, then why are you was friends with them for so long? Right?
Exactly.
It's not easy. It's not as easy to process versus romantic. And I'm not trying to minimize romantic breakups because those are hard too.
Oh, for sure.
Especially when you invest and put time and travel and money and emotions into it. That's hard.
Yes.
Like, let's not negate that. But friendships are just a completely different level. And when that happens in a marriage, that's not easy to navigate. At least not for me.
No. And so...
Are you agreeing it's not for me easy to navigate? Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying it's not easy for you to navigate, especially if it's something you've not experienced before.
Oh, because I thought you were just coming at me saying like, no, you don't know how to do it because you didn't do it properly when I...
No, I would never
you
say
love
that.
Me.
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt. You need a little affirmation.
Yes, because because as a man.
Okay.
Because as a man.
All right, man. Let's move on. And so I think a lot of all that we've talked about is something that's so real. And I think, friendships, I think a friend is someone, let me say this. I think friendships are something that God created that's just amazing. Like when you find your person, when you find people that love you, support you, you love them, you support them. And it's just this kind of like really great give and take of dynamics. When that is lost, it affects so much. Not only does it affect your spouse, but it also affects how you navigate other friendships, how you navigate other friendship spaces, and not using those past experiences as almost the standard by which you now navigate friendships. And so I think it's important to understand how important it is to be able to process all of it in a healthy way. And so hopefully you have a spouse that is healed to the where he or she can say, hey, I know that this hurts really bad. You know, help me understand, or let me help you navigate this very awful thing that you're experiencing, and not minimize it, not make it seem as though it isn't as big as what your emotions are feeling. And so in this first part of this two-part series, we just kind of wanted to set the base in terms of understanding how hard it is to navigate a friendship breakup, or when a friendship fades and you're reeling from it, and how sometimes it can affect your marriage dynamic, and how important it is to balance it in a healthy way, and not shun your spouse because they're not responding the way that you're wanting them to respond, or where it becomes something bigger than it needs to.
Right. So in the next episode, I think we'll talk about what are the to-dos and not to-dos when dealing with the friendship breakup, and when married, and when one spouse is dealing with a friendship breakup. Like, what are some tactics that I did that didn't help, and what are some tactics that I did that did help, and what are some things that I should have done in a friendship breakup? Yeah, not specifically I, but us. And there was something that I read that maybe we can unpack in the next episode, but that whole part about when you break up with that friend, does that change? Do you switch up or change your identity? Like, do you, like when you break up, like when you break up from a romantic relationship, you kind of say, yo, I ain't doing this no more. Like, I'm make sure like I'm doing this, I ain't doing that, Like, do you, when you break up with a friendship, do you almost say like, you know what, whatever next friendship relationships I get, then I'm making sure I'm moving this way, I'm moving that way, I'm not doing this or I'm not doing that? Do you take on a whole different personality because, like we were saying, they validate your story and of who you used to be, and who you are? Do you start becoming something brand new? Like, I would love to know, like, what is the conversation around post-friendship breakup and how you handle it, and your identity and validation, and then going into making new friends?
That's a good question. If it's okay, I want to answer that. I think, like how you often, and when you talk about relationships, when you're preaching, you have this line where you say, women, be careful, or be careful in romantic friendship, because you are sometimes making that person better for the next person. And I think sometimes, that can also be applied to friendships, where the lessons learned carries over into the new friendships. So the way that you moved, the way that you gave, the way that you held back, the way that you opened yourself, whatever it is, I truly believe those past friendships for me has helped me to navigate friendships and helped me to be a better friend. I'm not a perfect friend. I'm still trying my best to understand friendship and dynamics, but I do believe I am better able to understand friendships more as a result of that lived experience with that person that no longer is a close friend.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's good. That's good. Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I think we just validated the fact that friendship breakups are hard.
Yes.
And trying to support your spouse during that period is also hard as well.
Yes.
And life be lifing at the end of the day.
It does. But it is, again, an amazing experience when you do have friends to do life with, and you become better as a result of those experiences, those challenging experiences. But we have been here for almost an hour, and we were definitely supposed to. We said, "Oh, this conversation is only gonna take about 15 to 30 minutes." 50 something minutes later, here we are. We hope that if you have stuck with us up until this point, we just want to say thank you so much for rocking with us. This is a very important conversation, and we want to continue the conversation next episode, where we're going to talk about what tools, as Jaime mentioned, what tools that we've experienced and what tools that will help you navigate those friendship breakups if you're in the messy middle like we are.
Yeah. So this is Carlene plus Jaime, and we are signing out. But before we sign out, we want to encourage you to like, subscribe, share, comment, answer those questions, because we could definitely answer those in the next episode, or it'll give us better insight regarding how we structure the part 2 of this episode. So once again, we thank you for rocking with us on your Friday night, whether you're in your car, no matter where you are. If you hear our voices, you see our faces, know that we value you, we appreciate you, and we're praying that you have a safe, wonderful, and productive weekend. Or weekday, or whenever you're watching or listening, right? But yeah, overall, just thank you for rocking with us.
Yes. Peace.
Peace.